The New Mexico sun was merciless that afternoon, spilling down across the wide expanse of desert like molten brass. Calder Wyatt sat tall in the saddle of his dun mare, the animal moving with a steady rhythm that kicked up lazy swirls of dust. In their wake, he had been trailing a lost steer since dawn, the prints faint and fragile, nearly erased by the hard earth and the desert wind. Hours passed in silence, the kind of silence Calder had come to treasure. Own voices, no gunshots, just the faint creak of worn leather, the hollow whistle of the wind as it slipped between the rocks, and the high cry of a hawk carving circles above. He liked it this way, alone, predictable, no surprises. But the desert, he knew, never stayed quiet forever. At first, the sound was so faint he thought it was nothing more than a trick of the air, a fragile sigh, so thin it might have been mistaken for the wind breathing through dry grass. Calder slowed his horse, head tilting, listening harder. Then it came again, a whimper, weak, sharp, and broken, like a string pulled too tight and ready to snap. His heartbeat slowed, his gut tightened. Without a word he swung down from the saddle, boots crunching against the brittle soil. He tied the mare's reins to a lifeless branch jutting out of the ground and reached back for the rifle slung across his shoulder. The sound wasn't far now. It was human, and it was hurting. Moving carefully through the scraggly junipers and sandstone boulders, Calder slipped into a small clearing framed by towering cottonwoods. The trees stood ancient, their trunks scarred, their roots clawing deep into the ground, and beneath the largest one what he saw stopped him cold. She hung from the branches by her wrists, arms stretched high above her head, her body swaying slightly in the breathless heat. Her feet barely brushed the dirt, skin darkened by sun, streaked with dust, long black hair clinging to her shoulders, tangled and wet with sweat and blood. Her chest rose in shallow, broken movements. But she was alive. Calder's eyes snapped to the sign nailed just above her head, a rough plank of wood, words smeared across it in jagged strokes of red paint. "White man don't forgive." The sight twisted something deep inside him. His stomach clenched, bile rising hot at the back of his throat. It wasn't just a warning, it was a curse, the kind you could feel in your bones. His gaze swept the ridges, the rocks, the shadows. No movement, no breath but his own. The clearing lay empty, but the air felt thick, as though eyes still watched from unseen places. His hand drifted to the knife at his belt. He muttered low under his breath, voice scraped with disbelief. "Christ almighty, what the hell did they do to you?" The girl stirred, her head dropping forward. Calder saw the rope had bitten so deep into her wrists, the skin was raw and blistered, angry red against her dust-dark arms. His throat tightened as he stepped closer. "You hear me, girl?" His voice came rough, strained. "No answer. I ain't here to harm you." He tried again, softer now, almost whispering to himself, as much as to her. Her face came into the lantern-like glow of the sinking sun. Young, too young, 18 at most. Cheeks hollow from thirst, lips split and bloodied, high brow and sharp jaw that hadn't yet lost the shape of youth. She looked like a shadow of someone who should have been laughing, running, living, strung up like an offering in this god-forsaken place. Calder reached for the rope, twisted mesquite fiber, old but strong. Whoever tied it had chosen it on purpose. This wasn't meant to kill her quick. It was meant to bleed her slow, to make her suffer. The sign above her screamed in silence at him. The words clawed inside his chest, dragging out guilt he had never earned but could not deny. "White man don't forgive." As if painted in his own blood, as if the judgment had been laid on him personally. For one brief moment, Calder hesitated, knife trembling in his hand, but then she let out a faint, pained groan. That sound, a spark of life, clinging to the last thread, broke him. His chest clenched. "Ain't all of them," he whispered to the girl, though she likely couldn't hear. His voice was firm now, the knife sure in his grip. "I ain't that." One hard slice, and the rope gave way. She crumpled forward. Calder lunged, catching her before she hit the dirt. She was fevered, burning in his arms, and frighteningly light, like her bones had melted away, leaving only skin and heat. He knelt with her, lowering her carefully, one knee pressed into the cracked earth. Her eyes flickered open, dark and unfocused, full of fear. Calder tugged the cork from his canteen, poured water onto a cloth, and brushed it gently against her split lips. "Easy now," he murmured. "You're safe. For the moment, at least." Her hand trembled, weak fingers clutching at his sleeve, as if afraid he might vanish. Calder glanced once more at the sign looming above them, then back to the girl. His jaw tightened. He stripped off his coat and draped it across her shoulders. "You got a name?" he asked, voice low and careful. No sound came. "Reckon we'll find one for you," he murmured. Then he lifted her arms, strong but shaking with the weight of what this choice meant. "For now, you're with me." And with the sun sinking low, Calder Wyatt carried her out of that cursed clearing bearing a broken girl marked for death, and a secret heavy enough to hang a man.